David and Hong as part of the team for SV Agile. And I have 20 years in experience in software development. I'm a PMP. I'm a Scrum Master, Scrum Product Owner certified. And I'm here and privileged to be here in front of you and to be part of this group. Welcome and thank you for coming. And so I'm going to do the introductions here. But before we go, I have some things to do as far as I just want to be sure that you guys are welcomed here. We got food in the back. And I'm going to kick this off with just sort of a question. And this will segue into what Rosemary's here to talk about. So did you know that while 97% of organizations surveyed say they are practicing Agile, the vast majority, 84%, are below maturing level and even still experiencing or implementing isolated pockets for Agile? Okay. One thing is certain, companies must continue to innovate even more and constantly validate with their users and their customers in the markets. So SV Agile, sort of our mission, is we're fully committed to raising the Agile level of each potential individual, but also a team as a whole. Okay? To empower and encourage continuous learning, we've created this LeanAgile community. We meet on a monthly basis in this meetup, and it's every third Thursday. It's Tuesday, right, today? Tuesday. And so we want to thank you for coming and anticipate that we'll have more. We also have had three or four other. Yeah. So if you want to see recordings and information, get information or the transcripts. When did we start recording these? Did we? Yeah. They should be on the sbagile.com. If you go to /resources, you'll get everything that we have so far recorded. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Our Meetup Agenda includes plenty of friendly connections, the opportunity to connect over food, so hopefully you've got something to eat over here. And furthermore, please use the boards over here to provide job seekers offerings. If you're looking for a job, if you have a job that you'd like to let folks know. Also, we'd like to get some takeaways from you and also suggestions. So use the cards, the Post-its for these particular boards. And then you have the cards there also. If you have questions you want to hand to the host or the presenter today, we'll have a few minutes for questions and answers. That's right. Okay. So there's also during the break we'll try to get and encourage you guys to come up. We'll offer a 3-minute in session called LeanAgile Highlights, and you can come up here. And you can give us and share your experiences during that particular time. So it's sort of a fun thing that we do. And if you have something to share, you got your 3 minutes of fame. Okay. And then let's see. This session, like I said, will be called LeanAgile Highlights. And each month we're proud to feature a guest speaker. So I'm going to segue into introducing Rosemary over here. Tonight our speaker is an Agile project manager in Micro Focus. And this is Rosemary. She's worked in software development for over 20 years. And she's currently a release train engineer, Scrum Master, and Agile project manager. And she's in the security division at Micro Focus. So I would like you to join me in welcoming Rosemary, and I'll introduce you. Thank you and welcome.
Thanks.
Hello. So I'm here to talk about the Scaled Agile Program Increment Plan that we did recently meaning over like Labor Day weekend time frame, very recently, at Micro Focus. And I will page down works. So I want the first place to start is what is product increment planning. So the Agile Manifesto says that the most efficient, effective way of conveying information is within and to development teams is face-to-face. And so what we want to do is scale this out. How do you have face-to-face conversations with 100 people? It's hard. And suppose some of those people are halfway around the world. It makes it more tricky. So the PI planning is a way to scale these face-to-face conversations so that you can actually do them effectively across multiple sites with several strong teams. I'm going to hopefully be able to open this Scaled Agile Framework PI planning overview here. So here you can see a lovely image of what somebody's PI planning looks like. You can see all the people sitting at their tables doing their work, and you can see the remote teams are here in live videos with them. So how many people in the room are familiar with Scaled Agile? Please raise your hand. Okay, and how many people are familiar with regular Agile? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to just go through this. They give a very nice overview. Yes?
Could you define regular Agile?
No. I couldn't.
How agile?
Agile for one Scrum team at a time, basically. Yeah, is what I mean in this context. So if you're doing your the product, well, we have a lot of words to define here. A product increment is your deliverable piece of software. There is the period of time in which you create your deliverable piece of software. So you plan one at a time. It might take several sprints. So you're going to establish your face communication, and people will meet each other for the first time. Yes.
Deliverable piece of software
Yes.
from a external customer perspective?
Yes.
Okay. It's not internal customer.
Right. Now, you could do it just for internal customers, but it's supposed to be external customer ready. You're going to build your social network between your teams, because sometimes you have meetings with these people. They've never seen each other. They've never spoken to each other, and they have to work together. How does that work? I don't know. So you're going to align the business goals with the vision and the program planning objectives. You're going to identify all your dependencies across teams. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to have your organization ready. They need to know what we're going to plan. That has to be all set up. Your business has to be aligned with it. They're going to pay for this. They love it. And then you have to have agile teams in place. And you have to know what products you're going to plan. You have to know what sort of facilities you'll need to be able to do this. So your standard agenda for one of these things is you have your executive management stands up and gives the business context and explains to all the teams why we're doing this, why this is great, what the customers need, where we're currently meeting customers' needs, where we're not. Then we have our product marketing stand up and say, this is our vision for where we're going to go with this release. And so you have your architect also then provide the architectural vision, and your development management may have, these are the new development practices we're going to work on implementing in this release, that kind of thing. So you're going to then have a release train engineer, that's me, give the planning context to the teams and explain to the teams what their objectives here are, why we're having this meeting, and what they're going to do. And then the teams are going to break out into sessions and do their planning for their PI, and they'll have a draft plan review after they make their initial plan, and then the management is going to go over that and say, we need to fix this! So the team breakout, let's go into that a little bit more. You make on the wall, big on the wall, team, sprint, 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 like this, so that all of your teams and all of your iterations are here on the wall. And then the teams are going to take their little Post-it notes with their user stories and features and stick them on the wall. Now, Team A is going to have dependency on the work that Team B does. So here you track your dependencies. This is a feature. This is a significant dependency. There's milestones. So you put a string. In order to finish this, we need to have this done, and that done. And these are all done by different teams. This is an easy visual way to track that information. Now, once we finish this, we can have this feature ready to deliver at this trade show or whatever, right? So that is what you want to try to do during your PI planning. You want to get all your dependencies lined up, figure out how you're going to get it all done across all the different teams that have to work together. Yes?
Milestones are real, they're not something that management made up.
Yes and no. Milestones should be real. They should be things like, we have a deliverable we're going to release on this date, or we're going to deliver a internal build to this internal customer on this date, something like this. We're going to do a presentation at a trade show. We want to have something. We're going to have our beta. We want to have something. So those would be milestones.
Well, the reason I ask is as you mentioned delivery to a trade show, that's real, right?
Yeah.
And delivery to a customer who's integrating your function into something bigger, that's also real.
Yes.
Right. But integrating, a internal milestone where, one group basically says, we got this far. Well, it's all too easy to say, so we missed that a little bit, okay, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you if milestones were real, because if they don't force you to reduce scoping, and everybody kind of knows that, then basically they're not really real, right?
Right. So when you're doing your project increment planning, there's lots of planning that happens before this. This is a 2-day meeting, right?
Right.
In which you're going to do initial scoping of the work that you think you might, that the wish list you get, this amazing wish list, people asking for the moon, how can we ever possibly? So you do some initial scoping of that, and you say, we can deliver this much, and they want to deliver that much, and you work out something you think you might be able to manage. And then you hand it off to the teams who say, we think we can do this one in this 2-week period, and this one in this 2-week period, and this one in this 2-week period, and the rest of that stuff isn't going to get done.
That's what I was hoping that really happened, is that it was not really possible to impose scope creep.
Well, it is always possible to impose scope creep if you are the boss and you're going to fire people if they don't do it. So you have to have your bosses in line with it. The management needs to be in agreement that this is what we're going to do, and we're going to deliver on a cadence, but the scope will be flexible.
Hopefully by the time you come into this 2-day session, you've sort of at least 80% of the way there, and you're going to find out in this session.
So what I see, what I imagine behind this, is that there is actually a program management, project management, scrum kind of, which is actually doing a certain amount of waterfall to make sure that the dates are even plausible. And does something like that happen?
Not if you're doing it well. What you will have is, so in scaled agile planning, you have, let me see if I have this illustration easily at hand.
Because that little